You are now connected to the Cinema 9 podcast. It's a show about movies and film and such, and we have a live version where you can join us in real time if you want to throw in something in our live chat. You're welcome to do that. We also have the podcast version, and it's in perpetuity on YouTube. Anytime you want to see our ugly mugs, you're more than welcome to see us in all of our very typical-looking glory. So I'm Michael Govier. He's Travis Roy, Eric Branstrom. We're live and uncensored here. We're going to do Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's going to be the main focus of our Does It Hold Up segment today. But first, of course, we always like to say hello, check in, make sure everybody's okay, because we don't move forward unless everybody approves of their mental status at the time of filming. Travis Roy, do you consent? Oh, I'm not hearing you, Travis. Oh, no. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. You're not muted either. That's odd.
A rare audio issue from Travis.
Yeah, well, let's go to Eric, and we'll come back to Travis. Eric, how you doing? What's going on? Travis will figure it out.
Fucking fantastic, man. I picked up some of this Freedom Lemonade. It's like a session sour mixed with lemon. It basically tastes like bad beer that like somebody just walks up to your glass and like pours lemonade into.
Ew.
But it's not bad. And it's really getting me through these last few days at school. It was a tough day for me, man. Very, very emotional day because everything that's going on in the world down in Texas. So my heart is with them. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to laughing tonight and having a little fun and keeping the good grace of those people in my memory tonight.
Can you hear me now?
You sure can. You sound just like your old self.
All right. I was when I was trying to enter the stream,
Travis,
you and I were both
back.
You and I were both clicking the button at the same time, and something
There he is.
something happened. I am here. Hey, I'm here, and I'm mostly mentally stable.
I forgot I even said that. Yeah, that was dumb.
Check in.
Good.
Doing
We're
okay,
glad to
I
hear
guess.
that, Travis.
Yeah,
you're a
you know.
fine human being, and we're glad that
try.
you're aboard with us. And yeah, Eric was just saying he's had a tough week here. It's been a tough week in the country for guys like him, teachers. You're a teacher too, man. I mean, it's crazy shit out there.
Dude, I'm teaching the Iraq War today. And so basically all day, all I did was talk about what happened in Uvalde, Texas, and then the Iraq War. It's been quite a day.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Fuck,
you need
fun.
to laugh. We're
Oh,
I
absolutely.
do.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're here for. We try to do that. I mean, we live in this world, though.
Please.
Please, Eddie, right? Come on. I love
Remember me, Eddie? When I killed you, brother! I talk!
weird. Insane.
Yeah, we'll get to Roger Rabbit. Of course, make
Jesus.
sure to subscribe and follow. Give us a 5-star rating. If you're feeling like, man, it's been a tough week, I want to do something nice for somebody. How about a 5-star rating and review for the show on Apple Podcasts? That would be nice. I mean, 5-star too on Spotify. All you gotta do is click the 5 stars. You don't even have to do anything else beyond that on Spotify. It's very, very simple. I was thinking last night, I saw a commercial for Jurassic Dominion, whatever the fuck it's called now. Jurassic World Dominion? I don't even know what's the title, but it's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Two
could
Jurassic,
you be less?
two Park. I forget what.
Could you be less excited for a Jurassic Park movie ever?
No, not possible.
I mean, they do have the returning cast members of Goldblum and Neil and blanking on her name all
Dern.
of a sudden. Thank you. Laura Dern. But
Laura Dern!
has there been a good Jurassic movie other than the first one?
I would argue.
I don't think there has been.
I agree. I would concur with that completely. That's the problem here. They've lost me. I'm so far removed from having any interest. Dinosaurs are cool. We all agree. They're fun, but it's not enough. At 41 years old, I need a little bit more, I guess, than just dinosaurs. I'm sorry.
And you know what? I was reading something. I forget who. I think it was Sam Neill was being interviewed, and he was talking about how they wouldn't be able to make a movie like the '93 Jurassic Park now because of the pacing, and it was so slow and like by today's standards. I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's the fucking problem. Maybe
I read that too. It's absolutely on the nose,
right? Maybe taking some time and actually making us give a shit about these human beings that were, because. Otherwise, it just turns into the Godzilla movies, which I like them as entertainment, but like you're like, fast forward these fucking humans. I don't care about this shit.
It's like, yeah. I've likened it many times before to something that's on a big jumbo screen while you're like waiting in line to go on a roller coaster. You don't have to be invested. It does not matter. It's just shit happening on a big screen.
It's on the gas station pump. You're sitting there in front of that television screen.
Gas station television presents Jurassic World Dominion.
BP presents.
Yeah, speaking of disasters.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just I have no interest in it, and it makes me a little wistful, but not really, because they've already lost me in so many movies prior to this. At this point, it's just another day in my life, and I'm just not that jazzed about it.
Filmed by Phillips 76.
I was curious, is there a summer film that either of you are excited about that you might be hitting the theater for?
Love and Thunder, the Thor 4. That's the only one I'm excited for, probably.
When's that coming out?
July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely stoked for that. Not aware of anything else coming down that I'm remotely interested in. I guess maybe the Elvis movie. I'm kind of interested in that.
Oh, God.
I hate Baz Luhrmann with a white hot passion.
So do I.
Love
why
Bob
do I hate him? Or
Can't
why
wait
is he?
for Elvis.
No, I agree with you. They had like a 3-minute trailer last night when I was on YouTube.
boy.
Forget the 2-minute. It was like the mega next release trailer. And I'm like, his lighting, and it's also flashy and glitzy always.
A lot of fun.
Like, everyone's sweating in a way or something. I don't know. It's just like, it's not my
3-minute trailer?
thing.
Who wants a 3-minute trailer? That basically is like 3% of the movie. I don't want to watch like 3% of the movie and like some divided up. Anyways,
I completely agree. And Tom Hanks is the Colonel. He's doing like this. I never met the Colonel. I've never actually heard audio of the Colonel. You might know more than I do, Eric, but he's doing this accent of the Colonel that makes him sound like he's from Eastern Europe or something.
Like Benjamin Button accent. This just sounds stupid.
I thought the Colonel
I'll
was
be at the
Southern.
cinema this Saturday for Top Gun 2.
That's what I
I
thought.
can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Right, Top Gun
For what?
2.
Top Gun 2.
Top Gun Maverick.
Right.
The reviews
Academy
are out of
nominated.
control.
Best
The
Picture nominated.
Life-changing event, apparently.
Life affirming.
Yeah.
Top Gun 2.
Oh yeah, Top Gun 2. I got the poster tattooed on my face.
Yeah, you know what? I'm mildly entertained and curious about that. I will say, I'm actually more interested in seeing Top Gun 2 than I am the new Jurassic Park. I think I can say that.
Oh,
totally.
Yeah, same. And I don't care for the original, but we talked about that last week.
That's true. No repeats.
Top Gun, anyway. Yeah, no.
Can't watch
repeats.
Top Gun at a gas station. You got to be focused.
This is where I miss Chudpud, because he always chimes in, hey, have you seen Top Gun? That's like his thing he always says. So, Chudpud, hey, have you seen Top Gun? Have you emailed us lately? Did you know you can email the show? It's called Cinema9 at Proton Mail. Well, Cinema9 Pod.
Yes.
Sorry, Cinema9Pod at protonmail.com. And also, we are on the brink of starting our Patreon and releasing our Patreon. There's a couple fine-tuned, couple little things I want to take a look at before we officially release it. But we just recorded our first 10-minute conversation, which Travis came up with. It's a fun idea, and he just hit us with a random topic, and it's going to be exclusively to all people who are interested in being a patron for the Cinema 9 podcast. And we hope to have that. I would like to say, hopefully that thing will be live by Thursday. It's Wednesday night, too. We've also moved our time slot. This is the first time we've ever done a Wednesday show. So, yay! This is our new time slot now. Wednesday evenings around 7:15. We will be doing the same thing we always do. It's just Wednesday instead of Thursday. But hopefully the Patreon will be fun. We want to do fun things with it, don't we?
We're real excited about it. It gives us an opportunity to just kind of randomly throw out some things, create some new minor segments, do things solo or in pairs. Yeah, I'm real excited about it. Aren't you, Eric? Aren't you also excited about this?
Can't wait. It's going to give you a chance to hear a little bit more from us, aside from, film. So we're going to be talking, just about our general lives. So if you're interested in us and some of our other activities that we're into extracurricularly, it's just a fun way to, get to know us and have a little back and forth with us too, because we're going to be doing Discords and Q&As and just fun stuff like that. If you just like hanging out and you're into movies and just, cool stuff like that. Something different.
You may even get a chance, if you want to, pay for it. You might even get a chance to co-host the show and be a guest.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's the next level. It's a very special level. So anything and everything could happen. Who knows what'll happen next on the Cinema 9 podcast? No emails today, so let's move into quarantine viewing picks. Travis, you have control of the board.
All right, I watched some movies. I finally relented, I guess because we did get Shorty sometime last year. I'm like, I guess I should probably watch Be Cool. And man, what a pile of shit.
Really?
It was just a naked
Awful.
cash grab. These two old fogies dancing to Black Eyed Peas. I don't know, man. I wasn't into it.
There's no
Really?
Well, like it doesn't like interest you with a plot or anything. Like
It's
there's
an
characters.
utter rehash. I mean, most of the characters don't come back, and it's a lot of this classic. Like, hey, you liked this joke in the first movie. I'm going to use it again. I'm going to do that. I'm going to use the same line
Remember?
4 times. Yeah, remember? So I was not crazy about Be Cool. Eric, you watched Shyamalan's Old, right?
Hell yeah, man.
What'd you think of that? I forget. Did you like it?
I gave it the pass, dude. It's just something different. It's fun.
Yeah, it was fine. It was, I'm glad I didn't see it in theaters. I think I would have been irked if I saw it in theaters. Yeah. I thought the ending was blah. But, it makes me think of Kids in the Hall had this sketch called Premise Beach. And so I just where it'd be like they were on a beach and then there'd be like a different premise. So this is like Premise Beach, the movie. Speaking of horror from 2021, I also checked out the new Candyman. I wanted to like it more than I did, although I did like it. I thought that it has some great social commentary in there, and I also thought, I'm like, okay, in a few places. I don't know why they kind of build it as a reboot, because it's clearly a direct sequel, and I think that people will be more interested in a direct sequel to that movie, which it is, and well acted, and I really thought the direction was fantastic. That overall, definitely worth checking out. Not my favorite, but worth seeing. Please. I watched I made a claim last week on the show that I enjoyed 2001's The Animal. So I went and watched The Animal.
Oh my God.
I revisited The Animal.
So did I.
Did you really?
Yeah. When I heard that, I got so excited because I actually saw The Animal in theaters in 2001. I actually saw it in the theater and I enjoyed it. So I saw it was available on where HBO Max. Is that where we were watching it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. I haven't seen this in a long time. It was great. I enjoyed it. It's dumb. It's stupid. Hey, what's up my butt? That makes me laugh. Okay, I'm silly. What can I say? I
came in real hot last episode with a lot of opinions about a movie that a lot of people like. And then I'm like, oh, The Animal. I did fucking laugh. More than once when I watched The Animal. There is some problematic stuff in there. I mean, one of the main plot points is that the sole black character's problem is that life is too easy for him because he's a black man. Yeah, that holds up real great.
It's really what were they? I don't know what they were thinking with this. Like, in a way, they're trying to be like, oh, white people are that terrible. Let's give a black man a free pass for everything. I really didn't understand. It just looks stupid. That part of the movie is dumb. It's too bad because that guy, I don't know his name, but he's good. He's funny. He was the guy in American History X who's doing time with Edward Norton's character, and he's funny. Yeah, that's him. He's a funny guy. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but it seems like they could have done some more funny stuff with him.
Yeah. I checked out Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, which seems appropriate, being that we're doing the Roger Rabbit. Did either one of you guys watch it?
I wanted to. I was so surprised it was on Disney Plus because I was seriously thinking about
going to theaters.
Nice trip to the theater because it looked so good.
I kind of was too.
Then I was I'll just watch it for free. Fuck it.
Yeah, well, for whatever we pay a month, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I got on Twitter, the outrage machine, and so many people were like, "It's not as good as Roger Rabbit." Like, what do you want? What you want to be Roger Rabbit? Go watch Roger Rabbit. As far as being a fun adventure and a nostalgic deep dive with a ton. I mean, like Roger Rabbit, you have all kinds of different intellectual property coming in here and showing up. It's a celebration of animated film and animated TV shows from that era and stuff. It's very much geared towards people our age, not so much children.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect. I kind of got bored, but it's worth checking out.
Is there something wrong with the ending or something? I heard a complaint on a podcast that there was some issues with this movie.
I kind of started to tune out towards the end because it kind of just got kind of boring. It's an hour and a half, and I probably would, the first hour's good. And I'm like, all right. Okay, I think I'm going to go make dinner or something. But
I'm hungry.
But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It really is. It's fun.
I got to see it.
It was fun. And last but not least, since I already brought up Kids in the Hall, this has been Kids in the Hall extravaganza land. This is the time for Kids in the Hall fans to rejoice because I don't know if Death Comes to Town was already on Amazon, the 8-episode miniseries that they did in 2011, but I had never seen it before because I hadn't seen it available anywhere. So I blew through that. I blew through the series, which I actually didn't blow through the series. I kind of tried the new reboot or the 6th season. Really, it's a 6th season, which is it's fucking great. And like all Kids in the Hall stuff, it is, there's some just hilarious moments and some where you're kind of like, huh. All right. Which has always been the case. And the best thing was the documentary. It's a 2-part documentary, 45 minutes a piece. So I don't know why they did that, but it's really one movie called Comedy Punks, which is this exploration of their history that is so rich. If you are a Kids in the Hall fan, it dives in deep into how they met each other, why the show ended, how they broke up, just how fucking nasty things got while making Brain Candy. I had no idea. It was really ugly. And now they're like, I mean, it's fucking great. If you are a Kids in the Hall fan, please check out Comedy Punks. It is a real revealing look at how they work and who they are. And it's, I could go on forever. I love Kids in the Hall. I loved Comedy Punks. I love the new season. I'm very happy right now.
Yeah. What am I doing in my life? Is this all on Amazon? Is that where I find all this?
Yeah. It's all on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's my problem. I'll figure it out. I'll get better. Don't give up on me, Dad. All right. Eric Branstrom, what's cooking in your world?
Yeah. I watched Rampage with The Rock. It was like on TV when I turned it on, and like I couldn't find there's one of those where I can't find the remote.
Happens to you a lot.
Yeah, do I sit there and watch it, or do I try to find it and then turn it? Started getting into it. Kind of dug it. I like it. Yeah, I got no qualms with Rampage. I dug it.
I'll watch a Rampage too.
I'll play the video game. That sounds like fun to me. I'd rather play the video game, but that's fine.
All your friends from the game are there, and it's fun. I, Tonya. I saw I, Tonya in theaters. I actually saw this like on New Year's Eve one night. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Nothing? I'll go watch I, Tonya.
Happy New Year.
I remember kind of like thinking it was pretty good in theaters. Dude, man, I'm sorry. Like that, like for all that it has in terms of like positive feminism, blah blah blah. Like it also has a lot of like really gross child abuse that's supposed to be funny in it for like a majority of the film. It's problematic. Also problematic is the fact that like for most of the film, everyone's like, oh, Tonya Harding, she's trash. Like, look at her. She belongs in the gutter. She's like one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen as played by Margot Robbie. So the whole time I'm like, what are they talking about? Even like when she like tries to like wear sweatpants, she still is like a princess. I don't know. I think they hit the mark with this one. I'd like to see like sometimes I'll do dueling biopics. I really like the story of Tonya Harding, but this one was just, I didn't like the way this guy Steven Rogers scripted it. And I love Steven Rogers' Hope Floats, but the script was a problem. What? Love Hope Floats.
Oh, maybe I gotta expand my mind, open my eyes. You're right. I'll do better. Don't give up on me, Dad.
I won't. Yeah, Turner and Hooch. It's been a few years. Turner and Hooch, absolute classic. So good. But I'm sitting there watching. I'm cringing. I'm like, Jesus Christ. For like a third of the film, Hanks is wearing like these tiny, like satin women's panties for like 45 minutes. Can we get like Lucasfilm to like digitally add pajama pants to some of these scenes, because it was out of control, like butt cheeks hanging out while I'm supposed to be laughing.
Down the bed and like he's just like it's
cringe. But a classic. What else we got here? Jackass Forever. Yeah, I watched Jackass Forever.
Yeah,
I just like Jackass. What? I'm not going to sit here and be a snob about it. I watched it. Was laughing out loud. Had a great time.
It's fun.
Yeah. And Dark Side of the Ring is back. And last summer, I spent the entire summer doing nothing but watching Dark Side of the Ring and WWF biographies. I'm back. We got a new season, season 3. We're talking Brian Pillman. We're talking Luna Vachon, the steroid trials. I'm all about it. I cannot wait.
I don't know any of that. Is that like newer stuff? Because
no, it's like late 90s stuff. Like
oh yeah,
fantastic.
that to me that's newer. Like I checked out around 93, I think 94 latest. So
well, still pretty interesting for the for what it is.
Yeah. Hey,
it's about it. So solid week.
Good times, noodle salad. The Movie Maniacs guy jumped in here. It was a great comment. This might be out of context, but I've been watching a lot of A24 horror films. Have you guys watched any recently? If so, any favorites? These guys are always. Travis is always pumping up A20. Well, no wait, no, we all like A24.
Yeah, I'd say we all like A24.
Yeah, I was thinking of Neon for a second. Sorry, that's your thing.
Yeah, I support Neon. I do.
No horror for me, Movie Maniacs. That's just not what I do. Sorry. So.
When I watched Saint Maud, I think I gave it kind of a ho-hum review on this show, but I it has stuck with me, and I've thought about it a lot since, and I'd like to revisit it. I think Saint Maud was pretty good. What else did they do? They did Lighthouse, right? That's fantastic. Which I don't know if it qualifies as horror, but some people do. Didn't they? What else did they do? Ari Aster stuff, both of them.
Yeah,
right?
Was Movie Maniac talking specifically A24 horror? Because I mean, they've given us Lady Bird and Moonlight. And
he's talking horror very specifically. It seems.
It's horror.
So, yeah,
it's horror.
I love It Comes at Night. I think that's one of the more underrated horror films of the 2010s.
Okay. I imagine Men A24, the new Alex Garland. I believe it is.
Absolutely.
I'm psyched for that.
Yeah, I think I even want to see that. Well, I like Garland regardless, so I'm in.
Yeah.
I want to see X. I might pull the trigger on a $20 rental. Ty West hasn't made a movie in about 6 years.
Yeah, I've been itching to see that too.
Your classic $20 rentals are so funny.
I'm
never paying $20 for anything. I'm just not doing that. So.
Like all I care about is movies and like.
No, it's good.
It. So I don't spend money.
You live your best life, Eric. I want you to be happy. We all do, but
I spend money.
Yeah, a lot of it goes in a gas tank these days. So.
Yeah.
Jurassic
World callback?
Remember me, Eddie, when I stole all your money for gas? I don't know what I just did there.
Not do him getting run over by the steamroller thing.
Wow.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay. So let's see. I watched. Sure. This was always a personal favorite of mine. The 2001's. It's not one of his popular movies, but I've always loved it. 2001's Evolution. David Duchovny and Julianne Moore, and
Orlando
it's a fun movie.
Right?
Orlando Jones, yeah, Make 7 Up Yours. Remember that? Man, remember that shirt I had? Oh my God, I had that shirt. I wore it every day. Make 7 Up Yours.
I forgot that was him.
Yep,
wow, that was him. Yeah. And then he was also the magazine guy who shows up in Office Space for a minute before.
Right.
This was like a bigger role for him, and then he was on Mad TV. It's a fun movie, man. Dan Aykroyd shows up as the mayor of Arizona, but he sounds so Canadian. Just makes me laugh because of the way he's talking. Like, wow, you don't sound like you're from Arizona. It's a funny movie. They really tried to do something unique here. With, like, the special effects are not terrible. That some of them aren't great, but other are really good because there's all kinds of creatures in this movie because it's about this rock that evolves very, very quickly. What if evolution happened in a week? It's pretty cool. I enjoy it. Even Sarah Silverman shows up.
Was it Ivan Reitman? Who was it?
Yeah, it's Ivan Reitman. That's right. So not one of his more popular films, but I had it on. In fact, I had it on VHS when we lived at the dump, and that's when I first got it. And I always just kept that copy with me for years and watched it again and again. So I would recommend it. If you never saw Evolution, give it a shot. It's on HBO Max, so give it a ride. I also watched Blades of Glory, which was the ice skating comedy with Will Ferrell and John Heder.
Hey there.
Skowski, how you do there?
Blades of Glory.
I mean, it's got Will Arnett and Amy Poehler, and you're like, wow, this cast has got something. Craig T. Nelson and Romani Malco, but it's still just like, I think we just did a 10-minute conversation that Travis created for our Patreon, and the topic is a secret. You got to find out. You want to find out, you got to get in there. But I think an interesting topic would be about Will Ferrell and how much crap he's actually done.
Yeah. If you want to talk what the fuck, Joe Blow, your standbys, I'd be interested.
He just released a miniseries. What do you mean? Where the fuck is he? He's right here.
Oh yeah, he's still around. Well, He's just done a lot of movies that are terrible, and it's like the shame. It really is like the same shtick again and again with these, especially these sports movies. It's all the same. The NASCAR movie, the ice skating movie, the basketball movie. It's like, good God, man.
Yeah, he did have a minute.
But he's also done a lot of great work too. I'm not dismissing him entirely. It's just this genre gets kind of tired, but it seems like easy cash grabs, kind of like in a way of Adam Sandler makes the same movies, and people just. They're formulaic, but that's what they want. They want to see Will Ferrell act like a abstract weirdo in like a sports scenario where it wouldn't normally happen.
Product.
All right, Blades of Glory wasn't great. I also watched Mike Judge's lesser-known Extract, which came out in 2009 with Jason Bateman and Ben Affleck co-stars as.
Forgot that.
It's got J.K. Simmons is in it. They got Mila Kunis, Kristen Wiig, David Koechner, a lot of good actors that I enjoy who make me laugh.
Jesus.
And T.J. Miller, and yet it doesn't quite land. I will say I liked it a little bit more in my current lifestyle. I guess whatever way I'm viewing the world right now, I like to Extract more than I ever did before. But I'm not sure I could say it's a solid film, but it has its moments. And a bunch of Joe Blow. WTF? WTF? Let's see. What were some of the ones recently?
What the fuck happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
What the fuck happened to Matthew Broderick was the newest one.
Okay.
He's got a new show coming out where he's co-starring with his wife, or a new miniseries or a movie, something. He's doing something with
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Thank you.
Yeah, they've actually been on Broadway. That might be. I wonder if
maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
They've been on Broadway doing that show together. They did mention that. So full disclosure.
Okay.
Joe Blow is being completely honest about things.
Are you paid by Joe Blow? Because this is like the 8th episode in a row where you've shilled for them, and I don't understand why. Are you friends with them? Do we owe them something?
I keep watching these things. I just can't help myself. I did watch What the Fuck Happened to you. You mentioned Old, and What the Fuck Happened to M. Night Shyamalan, and I was
the guy who released a movie last year.
Currently filming something.
Got a TV show also going right now.
Yeah.
Has been for years. Where the fuck is this guy who's right in front of me?
He already had a comeback too with his when Split came out. That was like a nice comeback for him. So yeah, I don't know. I just like watching I guess recaps of people's lives in film, I guess. So maybe I should start my own series. Maybe I could do it better than what Joe Blow's doing. Maybe I'll do that on the Patreon. I'll take it up a notch and I'll show them how to really do it.
All right.
Or just email them. Tell them to change the name of their ongoing series.
A Day in the Life. Retrospectives. Joe Blow retrospectives. Ooh. There you go. That might work better.
All right. So. You're going to get hired now.
Yeah,
they're going to fuck you now.
No, don't fuck me. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. So, Cinema and iPod at protonmail.com. Send us an email. And, of course, we're going to get close. That Patreon's going to be rolling out here the next day or two. So get ready for that. We'll share the links. It'll be on all of our social medias, Twitters, Instagram, Facebook, the what have yous.
Et cetera.
It'll be, et cetera.com, Bubble, Risk It All World. And it'll be great. So.
Did you just say .com Bubble?
Yeah.
Like Y2K types.
Yeah, the Risk It All.
Y2K. The fucking sock dog thing. Talking dog sock.
Yeah, this riskitall.com world, man. Yeah. Used to say that all the time.
Relevant. Hot topic.
22 years later, as our economy tanks. Yeah, it seems kind of relevant, actually. If you guys want to talk economics, huh? You want to talk Davos, World Economic Forum? You want to get into it?
Yeah, get Harold Besser on the line.
Get the Fed rate. That Fed just hiked the rate. Let's talk about it. 0.9%, folks.
Hey, settle that. It's Fed rate talk. All right, now let's get into our main event. It's time for the movie that I selected for this week, and it's called Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
No question mark there. Just Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I know. That's exactly what I thought, too. And I saw the title frame, and I forgot that the title frame starts like that because I actually thought the movie starts with the cartoon. Right. But there's a title card first.
Did you read into that? Why there's no question mark?
No. Did you?
I read into it, and I guess that the industry standard was that question marks at the end of film titles are bad business, and every time a movie has a question mark at the end in the title, it tanks.
Oh, like that Harry Crumb movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who's Harry Crumb? Is that what it's called?
Top 3 movies with a question mark in the beginning. What About Bob? That's a true classic. Worked there.
I can't think of any others besides Who's Harry
Where
Crumb.
in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
That flop.
Rockapella.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I got no more.
No, I don't have any either.
There's
But
a
this
question
movie's
mark in
called
the title of Batman.
What planet
Knows
are you
Whatever.
from?
What Planet? Oh,
planet are you
boy.
from?
Gary
you're right.
Shandling.
Yeah,
All right.
Shambling.
So yeah, it's directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Bob Hoskins, the late great Bob Hoskins, who we all like here. Does anyone not like Bob Hoskins? Because I don't know why you would not like him.
Who doesn't like Bob Hoskins? Get them the
Exactly.
fuck out of here. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, hit the road, pal. Hit the bricks. And Christopher Lloyd is in this. It's a big, big adventure. This thing was a revolutionary type of film with all of the animation that came into it, and it was a special marvel for its time. So, Travis, back in 1988, when you would have been about 7 or 8 years old, did you see this one in the theater? Because I'm trying to think if I did.
I'm pretty, yeah, I did. I was taken to the movies a lot around that era. I was pretty well spoiled in the film department, which was cool, especially in the summers. I spent a lot of time with my aunt and uncle, and they always took me to movies. And that one, Roger Rabbit came out, I want to say, it was a summer blockbuster. And yeah, like everybody my age, I was blown away by it. Donald and Daffy on the same screen at the same time. My little mind was blown.
That's so cool.
I loved it.
That's still so cool. Yeah. Eric, 1988 in the theater. It was only rated PG, I believe, right?
Yeah,
PG?
strong, suggestive, mature themes here. So I was warned. I remember when this came out this weekend in 1988, the summer, because I went to the theater with my neighbor Evan Hawker. Remember Ethan Hawker, the teacher, his younger brother? Evan, he and I were friends. We went to the theater with our parents. For some reason, it was both of our parents. And for some reason, we went there to see Roger Rabbit. And then it was determined that Roger Rabbit was not appropriate for me. So Evan got to go into theater 1, and I had to go into theater 2 and watch Ernest Saves Christmas. Had a great time.
Oh.
But, I missed out in theaters.
In the summer? They had that playing in the summer? That's weird.
Yeah. It was a summer release. And I didn't see it for many, many years afterwards. So a big part of tonight's conversation is going to be the fact that I have no emotional attachment to this film in terms of seeing it as a kid. And when I first saw it, this is after I'd seen like Cool World and all this stuff already done, even by the late 90s.
Wow. And it's a Robert Zemeckis film right after Back to the Future, which you were allowed to see that shit, which is, I mean, this is not much worse than that. Yeah. But for me, watching this...
we can talk about that. We can talk about that.
There's a lot of bourbon. But for me, watching this last night, I was like, oh my God, I've seen this so many times. I haven't seen it in forever. But I'd seen it so many times.
That's so funny. That's exactly how I felt too. I was like, oh yeah, okay, this scene, I know what he's going to say here. I know what she's going to say. Like, I still got it, Eddie. Boop, boop, be-doop, boop.
It's like getting in a machine and like reliving a memory.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I saw this movie in the theater as well, Travis, and whatever. I don't know the exact memory, but I distinctly remember seeing the opening cartoon in a theater because I remember the bigness of it. It wouldn't have felt as big in a living room when it came out on VHS after the fact. To me, I'm pretty confident in that. It was the babysitter we used to have. We would kind of like spend weekends with. It was weird. Like they would like just stay there and. They would take us to the theater, and we saw Roger Rabbit in the theater, and we all loved it, and kept quoting Roger Rabbit a lot. And I didn't care about Jessica Rabbit; I was much more into Roger Rabbit at that time. So, apparently, Jessica Rabbit is a source of a lot of controversy. Apparently.
You don't say.
Vaguely sexual. Vaguely.
I mean, come on, just like come out with it for once. Well, let's talk about the IMDb rating first. I have not looked it up, so I get to guess. Anybody else?
Yeah, I checked it out, gentlemen.
I'm guessing it's high. I'm guessing it's real high. I think this is a beloved classic. I'm going to say 8.0.
Yeah. 8.0. Wow. I feel like it's worthy of that, possibly, but I'm going to say it's below the 8s, where people love it, but it got knocked down by some people saying, oh, it was this or that. So I'm going to give it a 7.7.
7.7.
Wow.
Look at you.
I swear I didn't look. All right. That's fun.
All right.
Yay. But either way, we were both in the ballpark there. So we both feel like most people who've seen this, probably because of the nostalgia factor.
Yeah. I mean, it was a huge and well-reviewed hit when it came out. And it's the kind of thing that, like, a lot of people like me had a copy in the house and just wore the fuck out of it.
Yep, absolutely.
Most most normal people. I mean, people.
Oh, of course, the
normal
normies. Yeah, the normies.
Excuse me, I'm offended.
That's okay. At least you were rocking the Beastie Boys back then. I wasn't hearing any Beastie Boys yet. So
little spoiler to the Patreon conversation.
Oh yeah, look at that. This is a teaser.
Look at that.
Hey, on Rotten Tomatoes, 97%. Is this the highest rated movie we've done?
High. That is so high. I think so. Well, we did
I really
Back to the
do.
Future. I wouldn't be surprised if Back to the Future was higher, or RoboCop.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have to double check it, but this is certainly in the running. 97 from the critics and an 85 from the audience. So the critics liked it more than the audience, who still liked it a fair amount. As far as critical reviews, we're going way back in time, obviously, to the 80s. But there's probably some modern reviews for people who were born after the fact and they saw it for the first time. So we could see what they have to say as well. How about Christy Lemire from ChristyLemire.com? She's a top critic, apparently. This was from 2018. Technology has advanced significantly since 1988. Yes, it has. But Roger Rabbit doesn't just hold up, it wows. This is from 2018. So.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. Peter Trevor says, your eyeballs have no choice but to go boing.
What a stupid review.
Jesus.
It says BOINNNNG. So I hope I did it right.
He had a fun time writing that one.
He sure did. The late, great Gene Siskel. We don't get a lot of opportunities as often as we'd like to get Gene's opinion on movies because he passed away in 99. But he said, this is a movie that demands to be seen twice. The first time, one is likely to be dazzled to the point of exhaustion. The second time, one can appreciate the artistry and good humor more easily.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. That's how I felt about Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes. Good call. That's a great comp. I completely agree with that. Here's a little dousing the flames here or are we fanning the flames? It's
Doubtson.
worse.
We got Doubtson here.
Yeah, see, nobody cares. Richard Corliss of Time Magazine said, the opening cartoon upstages the movie that emerges from it.
What a salty fuck.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to rip on it and you're going to give us one sentence? Like, that's supposed to mean everything? Oh, the opening cartoon says it all. After that, it's all downhill? Is that what you're saying?
Go watch Warner Brothers then. Because that's a fun homage to all that kind of stuff. But, the movie's a lot more than that. If you don't want more than that, then don't watch the fucking movie.
Oh, shit! Dude, we got Destin Thompson. Yes!
Oh, shit.
Wow, what a treat for us. So this is after the fact, of course. Not only a technical tour de force, it crackles with entertainment. He loves it.
A tour de force, he says. That's high praise from our boy Destin.
It is. He doesn't always say that. I agree. And lastly, Eebs. We did Siskel, we'll do Eebs. Sheer enchanted entertainment from the first frame to the last. A joyous, giddy, goofy celebration of the kind of fun you can have with a movie camera.
I can think of other ways you can have fun with a movie camera.
Yeah, I bet you would, Panama Red. So, a technical marvel. We want to talk about that first, get it out of the way. I mean, because it's what's mostly talked about in this film. It is a technical marvel. Does it still hold up to this day with its technical achievements?
I think one of my complaints about the film, and it's not really the film's fault. It's more like society. I blame society. But when this movie came out, and again, I was 8. What the fuck do I know? What do I remember about that time period of my life? But I remember distinctly. That's true. I remember distinctly getting the impression, and I did for a long time. Hey, this is the first time that live action and 2D cell animations mixed together, and everyone's like, "Wow!" But of course, it's been going on for decades, many decades. So I don't really understand what the hoopla was about. This was the highest budget for any film at any time. Now, being excited about the collection of IP, all these different characters interacting together, that to me makes sense. But and of course the achievement that they do, the way that they make it look is pretty awesome. I mean, I'm still watching the scene when Bob Hoskins is washing Roger Rabbit in the sink and hiding him from the weasels, and then one of the weasels kind of slaps some water at him. I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? So there's still some kind of cool moments like that in there.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Like the big achievement here which is one of the many reasons it got, I think, 4 Oscars for its effects, is that we aren't just looking at a static shot with cartoons superimposed on it, which you've seen in Bedknobs and Broomsticks and Mary Poppins and shit even before that. Zemeckis, and this is what they were worried about while they were making it, Zemeckis is known for these very technical long oneers. So they knew he was going to be moving the camera about quite a bit, and to have these tunes interact with the actors, not just in a static shot where the camera's locked down, but in these very expansive pans and stuff. I think that's the true marvel. And you nailed probably the best scene in the movie, which is an example of that at Eddie's apartment. It's incredible.
I don't know if this is true. I just like to. This is funny. After the first test audience was mostly 18 and 19-year-olds, they all hated it. Robert Zemeckis, they all walked out, and he refused to change one thing on it. Zemeckis left it as it was.
That's smart. Did you guys see where Terry Gilliam almost directed this?
Yes.
Which would have made sense, actually, at the time, given that, like, you know, Time Bandits and that kind of stuff. I'm personally a big fan of The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which is what he ended up doing that year. So I'm glad things worked out the way that they did. But that would have been interesting.
I didn't know that Amy Irving was the singing voice. Kathleen Turner does Jessica Rabbit's vocal voice, but when she sings a song like that song at the Ink and Paint Club, that's Amy Irving. And I was like, what? Wow. Okay.
Did you see also that, and I'm going to bring up the most horrific and disturbing scene in the movie early, which is, of course, the brutal murder of one of the shoes, the squeaky shoe. That squeaky shoe, which watching that last night, I was all fucked up watching that scene. But that's Nancy Cartwright. That's Bart Simpson's voice. Oh, right no there. Shit. Isn't that cool? I had no idea.
Really cool.
I thought you were going to say the most disturbing scene in the movie, which is just, you know, I don't think they were trying to be cruel in any way, but having all of the people in the band be Black Crows who were in the jazz band behind her, I was like, oh boy, this is...
I never looked at
the I never noticed it until I watched it this time. It's exactly. Like they're the jazz group behind her while she's singing at the Ink and Paint Club. I'm like, oh man, guys, really, this is too bad. I never noticed it when I was a kid, but now I see it.
Yeah, and you got like there is some other stuff like the American Indian bullet that gets fired from his gun, like breaks out a tomahawk, and you're like, ooh, big cringe. Are you gonna go back and get that bullet? Is that your friend, or did he just like die now?
He's been spent. You've kept him captive in this box for like 20 years or whatever. You've held him as his friend's hostage. Right. But that's one of the big scenes, man. And that's one of the big opportunities that they have to kind of mirror the whole circumstances of Los Angeles in 1947 at the Ink and Paint Club. You have tunes that are not sitting in the audience enjoying the show. They're either servers or they're performers. They're there to make the white people laugh. So it's a comment for sure, and even that might even been purposeful in 1988 to have all the Crows just be in the jazz band. But I mean, there's a lot to be said that I definitely missed when I first saw this in the 90s about how the tunes are disenfranchised and a displaced people in 47.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And speaking of that scene, since we're on it, and kind of things that are provocative that you maybe didn't notice necessarily when you were a kid, how about like you're looking at the curtain and then a leg peeks through and then a pair of titties pops out and then comes Jessica Rabbit and to sing this extremely sultry song that it's just there's so much sexual stuff happening. There's a lot of bourbon and a lot of sex for basically a kid's movie.
Yeah,
I mean, there's literally bourbon every 5 minutes.
I mean, this movie basically gave birth to the existence of cartoon porn, which is all over the internet now. Really, this movie I'm blaming this movie entirely for it because it's clearly implied that, like, hey, people want to fuck a cartoon. They want, and like Eddie's initial response to seeing her for the first time, he's like, oh, he's like coming in his pants. It's like, this is weird in a way.
This is like an incredibly forward-thinking movie because it's all like Rule 34 and mass transit propaganda. This is like right up the kids' alley these days.
Yes.
My alley too.
Damn.
this movie has more substance than you realize with that whole background of the rise of the freeway system and all this bullshit. These, Chinatown. They took some stuff here, probably. It's
more. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
a lot of stuff from Chinatown, which is fine because it makes. I mean, you're trying to balance a film that has cartoons in it, but this is not really. I don't think this is a kid's movie. I don't think it is at all, really.
So there's so many movies that come out these days that we talk about. That and I just mentioned this with Chip and Dale, where it's like it's kind of more geared towards adults, so the adults are entertained and then the kids enjoy it, and then they get older and maybe they understand it and like it. But that scale of what's appropriate and what's not has so shifted since 1988. Like, no way are you going to make a movie now that's just a ton of scotch and Bob Hoskins with his shirt off. Kids aren't ready for that shit.
Or an intricate plot such as this, like. The main villain's modus operandi is to support a freeway system and take out trolley carts. I mean, that's his motive.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Hey, did you guys catch that RK Maroon might be a nefarious character the first time he showed up on screen?
I kind of didn't.
He's
a maroon.
RK Maroon is like this. As soon as he shows up on screen, his face is like, "Oh, this guy's a scumbag." Okay, it's not even like a secret. Hey, Eddie, have a drink. And he's got that voice and this face. Maybe it's more obvious with Judge Doom, but to me, RK Maroon and the way they do something with every single piece in this film, whether it's the cartoons or the people playing the actual human beings, nothing is left to chance in this movie. Zemeckis really has his hands on every piece of the film, and I got to give him credit for that because it's what makes the film what it is, in my opinion. Every piece of it adds up to what you get.
Yeah. And speaking of humans and RK Maroon, is Marvin Acme the most annoying human in any film ever?
He's up there. He certainly is.
He drives me nuts. Like, he shows up on screen. He's on screen for about 10 seconds. I'm like, I fucking hate this guy. Make him go away.
Well, he loves playing patty cake. So patty cake is fucking, but it's not? That's what I got really confused about this as an adult.
Yeah, that was very confusing for me when I was like 14. I was like, patty cake? Is this like, should I close my eyes? What do I do?
Because he puts the camera down. When Eddie's taking pictures of them, he has to stop because we're meant to assume that what he's seeing is so graphic, but all the pictures are just patty cake. I'm confused.
I think that's fucking for tunes. Like, that literally is how tunes fuck.
Tune fucking. That is tune
fucking.
That's what I got as a kid. Even.
The thing about toast fucking.
I think the bigger question might be like, as much as like Mr. Acme might be super annoying, like what is this? What is the policy here for cops and tune deaths? Because we have Judge Doom, who is his own judge, jury, and executioner, just like with no investigation, no nothing. He's just killing suspects.
And killing, to me, again, to go back to the killing of the single shoe, which what about the pair? What about the other shoe? What happens to her? But it's weird that everyone just kind of watches this happen and he's able to just do that. But it does tell us a lot that Doom has a lot of power and that tunes are considered pretty disposable. And I also think it's cool that the dip is basically just paint thinner.
The cool thing about the dip, and if you notice me like screaming while I was on mute, I deleted like 5 pages of notes I had in a draft on Gmail. So I'm going to try to remember this. But the dip, Judge Doom says, is like it's benzoate and turpentine. But what it actually is it's what animators used as a solution to erase their cells on acetate, which is extremely cool when you think about that.
It makes perfect sense. Although what does not make perfect sense to me is at the end of this film, after Judge Doom is killed, and like all the Dooms, like all of the dip gets like sprayed away by the hose or whatever, and all the tunes come out of Toontown, and they all crowd around Doom's body and straight up walk around and play in it. Tweety Bird, Mickey Mouse, Roger Rabbit himself, they're fucking standing. It shows them standing in the dip that has come out of the Doom's body. I'm like, that's true. Get the fuck out of there. What are you doing?
We even had a reluctant dragon sighting in there.
Yes, there was.
Oh.
I made a note of that. There was a reluctant dragon in there.
Oh, man.
When he drives into Toontown, when Eddie pulls into Toontown, there's song.
This movie's... okay, that makes a lot of sense. This movie has so many... What was the most obscure character? Because this movie's well over many years old now. So they're taking characters and cartoons from like the 40s, the 30s. I was trying to see like, what is that? Do I know that cartoon? Do I know that thing? Like the Pelican. I didn't know who that was. I knew the broomsticks were Fantasia. I got that. And
what is it? Night on Witch Mountain? Is that the name of the Fantasia one? Like at one point you see like the little horned devils, but you don't even see the devils themselves. They just kind of like the horns and like the pitchforks kind of go across the bottom of the screen. That's pretty
right
obscure.
Next to the cattle call while they're all practicing their moves. That made me laugh. I never noticed that before, but
that was funny.
And Dumbo works for Peanuts. That's great.
Hilarious.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. It's like an IP nightmare, dude. Like this is never going to happen again. Like Ready Player One attempted it when they tried to merge all these properties, but like that was like 5% of what they're able to achieve here, thanks mostly in part to Spielberg's connections and all that stuff.
Yeah, this has never been a Disney. This is the only time, right? Disney characters and Warner Brother characters were on the same screen together. At least cartoons, animated.
Yeah,
ones.
as far as a cartoon, and there was like some stipulations, like some of them had to be on the screen at the same time, like Mickey and Bugs and Daffy and Donald, and it had to be like very equal. And that the movie ends with Porky Pig and Tinkerbell is not a mistake, right? They're like, oh, gotta make sure that we both get a last word in here.
It reminded me of the Towering Inferno when like Steve McQueen and Paul Newman had to like have their like credits like only like a millimeter slightly above than the other, and like we're talking about fucking cartoon characters here. Billing wars.
It's important IP to these people, I guess. I mean, it really is. I mean, Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny, no slouches.
What would this movie have been like if Bill Murray was Eddie Valiant instead of Bob Hoskins?
If Bill Murray checked his answer machine, what would this movie be?
Yes, exactly.
If he had a fucking agent, like a person. I'm glad Bob Hoskins did it. I mean, I think that Bill Murray probably would have been. I mean, some of these other names though: Sylvester Stallone, Wallace Shawn, Ed Harris back in 1988 was up for consideration here. I thought that some of these names, Sylvester Stallone, some of these names were really, really weird. But I think Bob Hoskins is dead on here. I think he's perfect for it.
Yeah, I didn't know much about. He was my first exposure, really. I hadn't seen The Long Good Friday yet, obviously. So
Mona Lisa.
I hadn't seen much of Bob Hoskins. This was my introduction to Bob, and I loved him, and he was always a part of my life going forward. And I never would have had that opportunity. I thought he did a great job in this role, being angry and bitter and resentful, and also very sad and
very furry.
And that reminds me, very furry, yes. And that also reminds me of the score in this film. It's fantastic. It sets a mood when it. I liked it when the movie first starts and it sets a mood. And when he's sad and Roger's sad in that scene where they're going, there's a lot of exposition through pictures and shit too, which is kind of lame. I admit that freely, but the music is not the problem.
I'm glad you brought that up because we got Alan Silvestri again, and there's the jazz stuff going on, especially like when the Touchstone picture starts off in the beginning, the jazz kicks in. That stuff is awesome. All of the like jazz stuff is really, really good. The adventure fun parts, it sounds like Predator 2, which sounds like Judgment Night, which sounds like Back to the Future. Bah! Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Ah! I mean, it's just Alan Silvestri. Da, da, da. It's always the same. Like, oh, there he is doing the same shit.
Okay, I like the melancholy ones when it's the sad melancholy part. That's you're right. I don't love that. That
good jazz stuff.
That's the thing, because the score doesn't emulate the soundtracks we're used to seeing in those old Chuck Jones, Tex Avery things. It just sounds like a modern 80s score.
Yeah, I don't think he was the right. I mean, I do think the jazz. Again, I think he did great work with that. But it's a little too blockbustery.
This is the part of the show where do I just ride this out and agree with you guys and be totally fine tonight?
Come on, let's do it. Let's make some arguments here. Come on.
I said earlier that I have no attachment to this. I didn't grow up with it, so it does not have any imprint on me. I would have been very happy if someone like Eddie Murphy signed on to Eddie Valiant like they were trying to get. Dude, I like Bob Hoskins in supporting roles. He's a very strong character actor. He doesn't have the charisma for me in this one. He just seems like basic film noir like guy to me in this.
True. That's true.
I think they
like the stuff that he like his jokes don't land for me. He just kind of says them. Like I think someone else that could have added improv and like some of these classic legends that have been known to improve a script could have done a little bit more with this, because he's just kind of there for me. I'm sorry.
No, have to be sorry. I totally hear you, but I think that he's doing what, for me at least, what is needed, because he's playing the straight guy. We don't need a wacky fun guy. We got Roger Rabbit, voiced by the great Charles Fleischer. I mean, that's the wacky one. That's the hilarious, charming one. Like you like to have like the classic gumshoe kind of stick in the mud guy and see him loosen up throughout the movie. I think that works for me, but I hear what you're saying. I mean, there's a reason why he doesn't star in a ton of movies, right? I mean, like he is kind of he's very British. He's so fucking
Mario,
British.
Though. Let's not forget, he was Mario.
He regretted.
Oh my God. Yeah, he took some chances.
He did.
I think the best representation of what you're talking about here with Bob Hoskins' character, Eddie Valiant, is at the end when he's trying to make the weasels laugh to distract them. He does that huge performance
for me.
That's
for me.
And so I know exactly why you feel that way, Eric. But to Travis's point, he's not supposed to be that type of guy. He's out of his comfort zone trying to make it happen. So that's why I never had a problem with it, because that's how they created the character. He's not this gregarious guy, but he's going out of his way to show you that he actually cares about these tunes.
But he
That's
is.
a good point.
This is the fun part that something like I despite watching this movie so many times, and I'm all excited now because I got something new watching it last night that I didn't really get before. In two moments, when he develops the film, and you see that the last vacation that he took with his brother, you see that goofiness. They're like doing goofy shit together.
Oh, the clowns. Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's not the clowns, but like when they're on the beach. And but the next thing I was going to say is it's some of the best exposition I've seen through like the just visual stuff is just panning through the desk of his dead brother. You learn not only is his brother dead, his brother was not just his brother, it was his best friend and his business partner. And you learn that they grew up in a circus together, which is where all of the performance stuff that he does at the end comes from. And you learn that he was a cop, which is why the cops are so down on him, because he became an alcoholic and left the force and all this. So there's like so much that you like that you can get from that one pan. I'm like, fuck, I missed all of this when I was a kid.
Not
Obviously.
a word of dialogue. Show don't tell. Classic example.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Goofy was cleared for being a spy. He was like clearly a red.
That's right.
I was
Pinko Goofy.
surprised.
Cracked the case on the nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yeah.
I was surprised reading into it a little bit that Chuck Jones himself, the legendary Looney Tunes maestro, the creator mostly of most of these characters, didn't care for the film. He had a lot of issues with it. One of his big issues with it was the Roger Rabbit character. He just thought there was not a lot of like pathos from him. He just kind of was there, like being funny. I gotta say, I agree with him a little bit here. I think he was being a little bit cantankerous because this is not that movie. I do think the movie does miss an opportunity to have tunes learn from humans. Eddie learns quite a bit about this world and humor in general and the positivity of frivolity, but I think there was kind of a missed opportunity for someone like Roger, who's the title character, to learn more from Eddie about human beings as they are coexisting in the world.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Also, if you want to know who Charles Fleischer is, who voices Roger Rabbit, you can see him in Zodiac, and you can see him in Funny People in a brief cameo. So
Permanent Midnight.
Oh, Permanent Midnight. That's right. Okay, good call. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, look, the guy who creates these, I don't expect the guy who is, the man who created these characters and watched them grow, and he didn't have the hands. We already complained about the fact that Disney and Warner Brothers had these very strict rules. So it was already fucked in terms of like a chance to branch out and have a lot of creativity. This movie is technically tight, very, very tight, as we already know, but the creativity it's a missed opportunity, I actually think. I kind of agree with what you're saying a little bit because of the stringent rules on all of these properties that are in this film. It makes it a missed opportunity to really, because I love Donald Duck and Daffy Duck scene. It's awesome. I wanted so much more of that. I'm like, I still loved it now. I'm like, this is great. I love this. I'm laughing right now, and I'm 40 years old. So I wish we could have got more of that. But, studios are going to studio.
I do love that Mel Blanc did most of those voices, a lot of the classic voices that he had originally done. I do think that if there's one tune that learned anything from humans here, there is one, and it's Judge Doom. he's learned the bad lessons from humans. This is the only Toon that's evil, and to be an evil Toon basically turns you into fucking Green Lantern, apparently, because you can do whatever you want with your hands and stuff, which is kind of cool. So you learn a lot. Like, wow, if there's any other evil Toons, like we're all fucked if the Toons decide to turn on us, because they can't die without the dip, and they can kill us very easily.
Yeah, right. By far my favorite thing about this movie that I've seen it a few times, but it didn't really register with me until now, is the fact that the Toons are really fucking dangerous, like just in general, and the fact that they exist in our world. Like, there's so many scenes where like they're doing stuff to like have fun and clown around, but like it's fucking dangerous, and like human beings could get hurt and stuff. So it brings up this thing where like Eddie does kind of have a point. They're like these nuisances and these threats because they exist only to make people laugh. Roger says, I only exist to be funny.
Yeah.
So you imagine for 1 second, because you do get into this world very easily. So you imagine if these things are all over the place and they're fucking clowning around and smashing shit, people are fucking going to get hurt. Yeah. It's a really weird thing to think of, which makes the movie really cool.
Yeah, watching it last night, I was thinking during the Daffy and Donald scene, like, how many fucking pianos do they go through every night? That's got to be expensive.
Yeah. Oh man, the pianos are already expensive. You're right. A Steinway costs 10 grand or more. Yeah.
Two per night. Two per night.
Yes.
That's a hell of a show.
Where else do we want to go? What else? Well, give me some other stuff, guys. I'm open to you.
Well,
because I've said a lot of things.
Did this pass the bathroom break test for you? Are you pausing it? Or are you like seeing it? Know everything about it? Whatever.
I think that tells us where you were on that one. But yeah, I paused it.
It does. I paused it at 42 minutes because I was starting to get a little.
Is that around when they're in the movie theater hiding out, like that part?
It was. Yeah, it was kind of around there. Like, there's so much slapstick. And there's so much just like bing, bang, boom, that for me, yeah, I got exhausted before even an hour into the film. And I paused. I'm like, shit, there's another 2 hours. The pace is a little weird for me. Like, these screenwriters, I deleted them, but like they gave us subpar films later. Wild Wild West. Yeah, just like this brilliant idea that was in an inception of Gary Wolfe's original book, who censored Roger Rabbit from 1981.
Sounds very different plot.
Yeah, extremely different. I don't know. I no pun intended, but I did kind of tune out after about 40 minutes because I found that a little bit exhausting, to be honest with you, because it's very obnoxious and it's very loud, and the whole film noir / Chinatown plot was so familiar to me as just like almost like a cliche that I did get a little bored.
I felt like that maybe a touch toward the end, but I couldn't tell if it was a movie or it was because I had seen it so many fucking times. I'll tell you, though, I think the biggest problem I had with the film, you actually just kind of obliquely referenced, which was the movie theater scene. To have a plot that involves a mystery and your hero is a detective, and to have him get the big break in his case from watching the fucking news is not great screenwriting.
Great call.
You just talked about a great way to exposition earlier, and now this is a terrible way to do it. Well done.
That was not great.
Yeah, well, you can't hit 100. You can't
win them all
every time. That's right. Yeah. You can't win them all, kid. Better luck next time, kid. I didn't think about that. I also thought about when Benny skids out, Benny the cab. We haven't mentioned Benny the taxi cab.
Also voiced by Charles Fleischer.
Oh, cool. And he blows a tire when he goes through the dip coming out of the tunnel. The dip thing gets knocked over. So like, that's what that means. Like your tires blow there's all these rules for every tune with the dip now that I'm starting to get more confused by. You don't just get burned alive. Like, wouldn't there just be permanent holes in his wheels, or wouldn't they just melt away forever and he would never be able to drive again?
All the windows disappear. They shatter and die. If you frame by frame it, the windows are like, ah.
And I'm watching the weasels like very casually stir the dip, move the dip. They haul a whole fucking drum of dip up a flight of stairs for some reason, rather than bringing Roger Rabbit down to the street. Like, they're so blasé about the dip. These weasels.
I'm sorry, like
weasels are funny.
What
they are?
What is this plot like? Why
Stop
does a cartoon? Why does a cartoon want to destroy Toontown? Why does he? Do they say why he like wants to kill all the toons other than wanting to build the
It's
freeway?
money. Yeah, it's
Is it
money.
money?
Power,
he's
money?
bought out.
Is it
yeah,
the
he's
dollar?
He's bought out Cloverleaf. He's gonna somehow profit from all of this, and he's doing it for profit and like in progress, supposedly.
And he hates tunes.
And he hates tunes. Clearly, he's a self-hating tune.
He's a
Cloverleaf,
self-loathing.
actually the third script by Robert Towne, the second Chinatown
What a
sequel.
world! What a world!
I love the clues that Judge Doom is a tune. He puts that big ass glove on, so he doesn't have to touch the dip. And I love that the shoe is red because when he kills the shoe, it looks like fucking like blood and shit.
See, those are amazing. Like when Robert Rabbit goes through the window.
Roger Rabbit.
After he has his first alcoholic drink and he's pissed, he's like, "I'll get it back. You'll see." That's awesome. How it's a still of his body crash through the window. That's awesome. It looked totally like I tried to I even back rewinded it for a second. Like, oh wait, I want to see where this frame will give it away, but I couldn't see it. It was amazing.
Would you go to Toontown? I would be fucking terrified of Toontown.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is, to me, I wish there was more Toontown. When they go to Toontown, I get so excited. It's like, oh, it's so much fun in here, and it gets all bozo-y, and that redheaded lady who's not Jessica Rabbit.
Lena Hyena.
Lena Hyena.
Thank you. Lena Hyena.
I get very confused there because it's established that you can feel pain there because he hits his head. Valiant does. But then also when he goes up the elevator really fast, his body like turns into a puddle, and so like you can both feel pain, but you also have like Toon properties when you're in Toontown. But what?
And his brother was murdered in Toontown, wasn't he? That's why he hates going to Toontown.
Yeah,
I feel like that's how that happened.
Oh, this whole thing is falling apart.
It's
almost like this cartoon human movie doesn't make sense.
We're trying to rationalize this shit.
I want logic right now. I want this grounded like my Nolan Batmans right now.
How about when little children give Bob Hoskins' character cigarettes?
Yeah. It's 1947.
Like things have changed.
Love that. Yeah, that was great. Like that's what I'm saying. This is not a kids movie. That would fly today apparently, which is weird because it's not. I mean, it's still an innocent thing, but it seems like that would happen. Kids who ride the back of trolley carts are smoking.
Sure. This love interest. I don't even remember her name.
Oh,
Dolores.
Like what?
She gives up her whole bar for nothing. He doesn't even like comment on it. She's like, "I lost my bar." He's like, "You should leave me." And that's literally the conversation they have.
The legend, Joanna Cassidy, man. Joanna Cassidy is a underappreciated classic actress. I mean, she's not a Hall of Famer. She's not like a world beater, but Joanna Cassidy's from. Oh man, I loved her in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. She plays the boss.
The boss.
She was awesome. Yeah, the boss.
Right on top of that, Rose.
Yep, that's her, the boss.
She played Rose. That's right. She was fucking awesome in that. Damn.
Well, she's had her moments.
Yeah, you're right. She's really good in that. All right. What else we got, guys? Is it starting to run out of steam here?
Yeah.
Well, the big question is like this cemented and paved the road for literally every single movie we see now, where like CGI characters are just palling around with everybody in every single scene.
Yeah. Osmosis.
It's so groundbreaking. It's so groundbreaking.
Oh no.
That's
what Bill Murray did instead. He could have done this. He did Osmosis Jones.
What happened?
And Space Jam. Maybe that was him trying to be like, I fucked up.
Yeah, I think so. Probably. Honestly.
So I don't know.
It's
from
inevitability,
a technical
though.
standpoint,
This movie's
unbelievable.
This movie's not to be blamed, Eric. This was going to be an inevitability. The technology was going to evolve. So if it wasn't this movie, it would have been another movie. So I don't blame the movie itself.
Well, what if Cool World was like the first time this happened? Would it be a classic now?
Yeah, because I think somebody would be like, well, that was shit. We can do it much better. So someone's always going to want to do it better, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that this had broad accessibility in a way that, I mean, I haven't seen Cool World, but like that was geared towards adults. If you're going to make a movie like this, you want to make it kind of for everybody, which by the standards of 1988, this is PG. This is legit. There's not too much to, be alarmed at. In 1988, I mean, now we're like, what's with the racist undertones? What's with the cigarettes? What's with all the fucking bourbon? But at the time, Yeah, a lot of sexual innuendo. Is that a rabbit in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? She asked me at one point. It took me a long time to figure out what that meant.
Me too. I didn't know what that meant when I was a kid. Also, we haven't even mentioned the misogynist baby. I mean, what a fucking character. Baby Herman, a total asshole to women who's cuckoo gaga on set. It's bizarre. It's fucking bizarre.
He's hilarious in Something's Cooking, but I liked him even more in the short before Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember?
I remember that. I saw that at a drive-in because we saw that movie at a drive-in. I remember that well.
Awesome. Speaking of the tunes, I love the way the tunes look because even today, like when there's animated characters, they still just look like cartoons. Like they look animated, but like what this creative team did, and headed by Richard Williams, who won the Special Achievement Oscar, and until then, it's been 20 years. It was 2017 when, for some reason, Alejandro Inarritu won it for some like film I never fucking heard of, Flesh and Sand, for some virtual reality thing he did with that. But it was 1988 until somebody won it, that Special Achievement Oscar, and like something huge that people did for movies for this film, which is insane, dude. But
sorry, go ahead.
My point was before that, really quick. I love how the tunes look like they could pass as just like regular entities living in the world. They look different from how they do in the films, and in the real world they're like shady, and they're like a little grimy and stuff. It kind of makes them seem like they're even cartoons have like this makeup and smoke and mirrors thing going on for them when they're in movies, that I thought was really cool. It'd be really easy to just make them like super glossy and stuff, but
yeah. I think to get to your point, I think that what happens with this movie that makes it so wonderful in that respect is there's this great marriage between the animators, the special effects team, and the cinematographer Dean Cundy, Cundy, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. He did Jurassic Park, he did Halloween. Back to the Future. This guy's a legend. So he really was the right call for this, because I think that what gives the tunes such richness and this feeling of three-dimensionality is the lighting and the shadows and the way it plays.
Yes, exactly.
It's really extremely well done.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's on display in the opening cartoon. The floors, you can see the spit shine clean floors. You can see the baby and the reflection of that. It's so cool, man. It's
we see that.
Yeah, but even more like when they're
exemplified to this day. Like there's a term. I think they call it knock the lamp or hit the lamp. Yeah, which is basically a term for like go the extra mile and get that little detail, like water droplets or like somebody tapping something. So in your subconscious, you have this believability there. Even to this day, they have this term for it, which is from Roger Rabbit when they go into the warehouse. I
think there's something to be said for filmmakers, and there's a lot of different ones that do this, where they do stuff on film, that they do stuff on set that's really, either on set or in post in this case, it's kind of for them. Like, it's like, let's do a better job than we need to, right? Because this, and it will eventually show. I read earlier today that apparently in both, filming both Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, Ryan Reynolds was such a fan of John Candy that he carried around a fake copy that he had made of Canadian Mounted, which is fucking hilarious. And you never even see it on film, but it's somewhere there. And it's just kind of like, this enriches the experience for him, which in turn enriches it for us. So like this whole knocking the lamp thing is a similar idea. I think like these guys went over and beyond what they needed to do, and in so doing created a really believable universe.
Well said. That's good stuff. Well,
I guess it's funny. I felt like I had all this stuff to say at the top, but now we're getting towards the end here. I am kind of running out of comments to make. We touched on a lot here. We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, you mentioned briefly too, and I just wanted to reiterate that there was a book, a novel in 1981. So I didn't know that was new to me. I never heard about who censored Roger Rabbit was the original title of the novel.
Yeah. Where Roger Rabbit was a comic strip and not a cartoon. They were all comic strips, and like from the Sunday Funnies. And Roger Rabbit dies, and somehow there's a Roger Rabbit doppelganger running around. It's like, this is so confusing. No wonder they just like basically took the names and ran with it.
Yeah, and in the book, when the characters or the cartoons talk, there's word bubbles. They're like up here, like in our reality, and you can like go in there and fuck with them and change the words. I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, it's interesting, but can you imagine if they like made a proper who censored Roger Rabbit movie? That'd be weird.
Oh, maybe someone's up for it. I don't know. You know,
I'll tell you what I wouldn't mind would be, and this is rare that I would be into this kind of thing, but I would be down for a prequel following Judge Doom's life and like finding out what motivated him, the classic Disney or whatever. Like let's make a movie about the bad guy kind of thing. But I could definitely learn more,
like a Cruella.
Like a young Judge Doom and him going, like making that transition from Toon to human and like
Doom
learning
rising.
to fool people and stuff and like getting the mask and all together and maybe even killing Teddy Valiant, Theodore Valiant.
Exactly. Cool. You got a whole world there that was created that's just sitting there and nothing's been done with it. Yeah, I mean,
so J.J. Abrams wrote a script in the late 80s called Who Discovered Roger Rabbit. And it was bandied about and poured over, and they could not crack it. And I think
he's like, screw that. I'm going to go do Regarding Henry instead.
Yeah, it was a prequel. But that does beg the question, when you got a hit of this magnitude, how do you not greenlight that sequel? And how is it not? It just seems like Roger Rabbit just disappeared completely. Yes. Even the property of this character, like what nothing.
Surprising. It always seemed weird. But it must have been such an act of Congress to get all of the other characters together again that they were like, well, we can't make this happen again. So let's just periodically have him do like these one-off shorts, which I really do like the dynamic between him and Baby Herman, like this classic Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner thing or like Tom and Jerry thing, but it's got its own unique twist on it. And that like the baby's not deliberately trying to hurt Roger. It's just like this incidental thing.
By the way, in the novel, you talked about how Judge Doom is judge, jury, executioner. There was there was a jury of kangaroos to make a kangaroo court.
I heard this. All the Joeys were like, guilty.
I guess you can't just carry around those kangaroos with you every time you're dipping somebody at a bar. So I understand that. Yeah. It's challenging technically. So,
quick fun fact: like today at my school was like bring in a dip day.
Ooh.
So as a tribute to Roger Rabbit, I brought in like a green chili and cheese.
I bet it was appetizing. Did it look cool?
But it looked like the dip, and I called it Judge Doom's dip. No compliments.
Like to the reference or the dip itself?
No one said anything about the taste, which was exquisite, or the Roger Rabbit reference. I don't know.
I'm really bummed. I just realized I forgot to change my background after we did our first video. So. Darn it. It's such a lively background. Look how colorful it is.
Could have been looking at this the whole time, those of you that are watching us on YouTube. If you are watching us on YouTube, take a quick minute, click like or subscribe or both. We would definitely appreciate it. If you're listening to us on the regular podcast, we do appreciate that as well. But be aware, you could look at our big dumb faces.
He's a son of man and God a lion. All right, let's do it. Let's lock this one down. It's time to find out who framed Roger Rabbit? No question mark. Does it hold up or not? I'll go first. I think I went last time, right? Yeah, I did. I'll go first. Who Framed Roger Rabbit's a lot of fun. It holds up. I don't need to say much else. I've already said it all. It's not a kid's movie necessarily, but these days it kind of is. I mean, where we are now, the world moves way ahead of where we were 30 years prior. So this is easily a film that has a little bit for everybody. It holds up because it's fun, and I do feel like there's some missed opportunities with more creativity could have occurred, but that only means that, hey, world out there, people who have money. I know Netflix already burned through all their cash, and now they have to fire everybody and start doing advertisements, but whenever we get back to a quality economy again, whoever has the money next, fire up a Roger Rabbit IP situation. Do something with this world because I want to see more of it. I'm waiting for more. There's got to be at least something else. Travis's ideas were great. Let's get some more Roger Rabbit ideas and content. It holds up.
All right. I'll go ahead and go next since you seem to be the suspense with the suspense for what you're going to say, Eric. But it's probably pretty obvious that, yeah, for me, this definitely holds up. This is a childhood classic. I felt like going in, it was going to hold up. And I felt after I watched it, yep, that holds up. Again, I admit there was a few points where I was kind of done with it before it was done with me. Again, and I've seen it so many times. My dog is barking at a bone. She's literally barking at a bone right now. Very dog-like thing to do. Anyways, yeah, it holds up. What a classic. Totally imperfect. I am shocked that Bob Hoskins would be so comfortable with his shirt off for so much of this movie. And I say that as someone who has the same body type as Bob Hoskins, although maybe a few inches less body hair. Because he's intense. But, you know, it's a fun movie. It's a fun ride. There's a reason why they only made one of these fucking things, really. And it's still, he's in our consciousness. He's still in the zeitgeist. He's still a cultural touchstone. So holds up for me.
Yeah, it's lightning in a bottle. I mean, the stars were aligned, and when they made this, there's no doubt about it. You got the master magician Steven Spielberg. You got Bob Zemeckis at the height of his powers, and you have entities willing to lend their characters in support of a product that's just fun and entertaining and a fucking great idea. Do I personally have some problems with it being a little too familiar when it comes to this film noir story, and am I lacking a little bit more depth from some of the characters? Yeah, but when a movie is, and anytime a movie gets entered into the Library of Congress for its cultural significance, who the fuck am I to argue? This did so much for the industry, and it proved that literally the sky is the limit. You think it, you dream it, we can do it. And that's what this thing really did for Hollywood in 1988. It holds up. It's so much fun. It's one of these movies where, like, kids nowadays probably fucking never heard of it. So if you put it on, it's going to feel fresh, and I think it will excite a lot of people. It holds up, man. What are we talking about here? This is a modern American classic.
All right. Kind of scared me earlier on. There was a lot of eye rolling and like, oh, you guys are going to hate me kind of shit. So I'm glad that you felt on board with it.
Here we go again. Matt Wilson with the Jessica Rabbit is hot. Who are these fucking weirdos? She's a cartoon.
Oh, Eric. oh, you gentle child. Harsh Truth asking, do you guys think Donald drops the...
No.
What?
No.
Well, he is the harsh truth.
That's
He's the harsh truth. This is a legitimate question.
He also says hello.
So.
It's good to see you.
Hey,
I don't think that happened at all. Harsh truth.
Yeah.
So.
That scene, I cannot
some of these comments all came in. Real quick. One final question. What are your top 3 directors? This movie maniac says Wes Anderson, Quentin Tarantino, Stanley Kubrick. I'll tell you what. How about next week? Or maybe we'll make a Patreon video. About our top 3 directors. That sounds like a fun topic idea.
Yeah, and I'd like some time to think about that before I commit publicly to my top 3 directors. Yeah, I can't do that off the fly.
Yeah, I'm so not ready for that. Yeah, no way. Good question though, movie maniac. Good question.
And good directors. Yeah.
There it is. We did it. Who Framed Roger Rabbit holds up.
Yeah, it does. And next week we're very excited to welcome back the great Brian Madison. Correct?
That's absolutely right. I've been speaking to him over the past week. He's very much looking forward to rejoining the pod in his second guest host episode. And he has chosen a film that will definitely excite the two of you. I'm pumped as well. This should stir a lot of conversation, man. We talked to Ivan Reitman earlier with Evolution. And his son, Jason Reitman, blew us away with Up in the Air. His 2011 film is Brian's pick, Critical Darling, featuring a fantastic lead performance from Charlize Theron, from what I can remember. It's young adult.
Yeah, Diablo Cody script again.
Yeah, I remember this movie. I actually almost watched this the other day. I'm glad I didn't. I haven't seen it before, but you look excited, Mike. Favorite movie?
Well, I mean, Juno was well done. Diablo Cody, came on the scene out of nowhere and wrote that script. Yeah. People loved it.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was.
Now this,
not me.
Yeah, and so this is her follow up too. They worked together, a recollab, both of them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. I gotta go. I just remember the first time I saw Young Adult, and I was like, it was just
in theaters.
Didn't do anything for me. So.
But
so yeah, Yeah, as you should have. It was
Seen that a few
highly
times.
anticipated. It was.
And excited to have Brian back on the show. Looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
Yes, in no way is my immediate reaction any indication of how I feel about you, Brian. You're a fine, upstanding American, and we're grateful for your time. So, yeah, next week we'll do what we do with Brian Madison. Remember, it's every Wednesday, not Thursday, and the Patreon's going to be going live. Stay tuned for that. It'll be up here in the next 24 hours or so. But until then, that's Travis Roy. He's Eric Bransham. I'm Michael Govier. For Roger Rabbit, we say good night now.
Shave and a haircut.